What if I told you that there's a tea, yes, a simple tea, you can make today that has been shown in scientific studies to significantly reduce prostate inflammation, almost instantly? Sounds too good to be true? Stay with me, because once you understand how it works, what it does in your body, and how it's been backed by real evidence, you'll realize that this might be one of the most overlooked yet powerful health tools for men over 40. What is this tea? How exactly does it calm inflammation in one of the most vital parts of the male body? And why hasn't your doctor mentioned it yet? If you care about your prostate, your sexual health, or simply want to avoid late-night bathroom runs, this is something you absolutely need to hear. Let's dive deep into it. But before we get into the details, if you're into health content that actually makes a difference in your daily life, consider subscribing so you don't miss any of this life-changing information. Here's where we start, with a question. Have you ever wondered why prostate inflammation becomes so common with age? It's almost like a ticking clock. For many men, by the time they reach 50, symptoms start showing up. Difficulty urinating, waking up multiple times a night, discomfort, or even pain. What's going on? Why is the prostate so sensitive to age, stress, and diet? Let's pull the curtain back. Prostate inflammation, known medically as prostatitis, can be triggered by a variety of factors, but one of the strongest contributors is chronic low-grade inflammation driven by diet, stress, and metabolic dysfunction. And here's the kicker. This inflammation doesn't just affect the prostate. It's a whole body issue, and once it starts, it becomes a vicious cycle. Inflammation leads to oxidative stress, which damages cells, which in turn fuels more inflammation. The prostate, being a gland with high metabolic activity and rich in hormone receptors, becomes an easy target. Now, where does tea come in? One specific type of tea, green tea, has been studied extensively for its anti-inflammatory effects, especially when it comes to prostate health. But we're not talking about just any green tea. We're talking about a concentrated brew using high EGCG content leaves, steeped just right to release powerful polyphenols like catechins. EGCG stands for epigallocatechin galat, and this compound alone has been shown in multiple studies to not just reduce inflammation markers, but actually inhibit the growth of prostate cancer cells in lab settings. Let's break that down in real-life terms. When you drink this tea regularly, EGCG enters your bloodstream, reaches your prostate tissue, and begins to interfere with inflammatory cytokines. Those are like chemical messengers that scream, "We're under attack." By calming that message, your prostate tissue starts to heal. Swelling goes down. Blood flow improves. That pressure you feel during urination, it begins to ease. But the benefits don't stop there. Green tea catechins also help balance hormone levels, particularly by regulating an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. That enzyme converts testosterone into DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which in excess contributes to both hair loss and prostate enlargement. See how it's all connected? By reducing DHT levels naturally, green tea acts as a gentle balancer of male hormones. And here's where it gets fascinating. There's a study published in the journal Prostate, where men with early-stage prostate issues consumed a specific green tea extract daily. Within weeks, not only did their prostate-specific antigen, PSA, levels stabilize, but ultrasound imaging showed reduced inflammation in the gland. Think about that for a moment. Visible changes in inflammation with nothing more than a concentrated form of a common plant. And now you might be wondering, how much tea do you actually need to drink to see these effects? Great question. Based on clinical trials, around 600 to 800 milligrams of catechins daily seems to be the sweet spot. That's roughly the amount found in 3 to 4 cups of high-quality, properly steeped green tea per day. But there's a catch. Not all green teas are created equal. Cheap bag teas often have lower catechin content and may be contaminated with pesticides or heavy metals if not sourced carefully. So quality matters a lot. But here's something even more intriguing. The timing of when you drink the tea can affect its impact. Studies suggest that drinking green tea between meals, not with meals, helps maximize the absorption of catechins. When consumed with food, especially high-fat meals, the absorption of these compounds is reduced. So to get the best results, aim for mid-morning and mid-afternoon tea breaks. Just you, your mug, and your health in progress. Now let's talk about what people often overlook: combining green tea with other lifestyle changes that amplify its benefits. because tea alone won't fix a poor diet or a sedentary life. But when paired with a few key changes, the results can be transformational. Start by cutting down sugar. Why? Because sugar drives inflammation faster than almost anything else in the modern diet. It spikes insulin, triggers oxidative stress, and sets your entire endocrine system off balance. Reducing sugar, especially from processed foods and sugary drinks, can dramatically lower systemic inflammation, and that includes inflammation in the prostate. Now, imagine combining a low-sugar, anti-inflammatory diet with 3 cups of high EGCG green tea daily. You're not just managing symptoms anymore, you're addressing the root cause. You're sending a message to your body that says, we're changing direction, we're healing, but we're not stopping here. Let's bring in another key ally, zinc. Zinc is essential for prostate health, and many men are deficient without even knowing it. The prostate holds more zinc than almost any other organ, and it uses zinc to control inflammation, hormone balance, and even protect against infections. Green tea helps improve zinc absorption in the body, so the two work synergistically. If you're already getting zinc from foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, or a well-formulated multivitamin, adding green tea can make that zinc work even harder for you. But what about the caffeine? Some guys worry about drinking green tea in the evening because of the mild stimulant effect. And it's true. Green tea contains caffeine, although in much smaller amounts than coffee. If you're sensitive to caffeine, you can switch to decaffeinated green tea, which still retains a good amount of EGCG, or drink your last cup before 2 p.m. That way you get the benefits without messing with your sleep. Still curious about how fast you might notice changes? Here's the thing. Some men report relief in as little as 3 to 5 days. For others, it might take a few weeks. It depends on the level of inflammation, your overall lifestyle, and your consistency. But if you drink it regularly, eat clean, and move your body daily, you are setting the stage for your prostate to function the way nature intended, without pain, without pressure, and without waking up 3 times a night. And while we're here, let's bust a myth. A lot of guys think that prostate problems are just a normal part of aging, that they're inevitable. That's not true. Yes, aging is a factor, but inflammation isn't destiny. You can change your trajectory starting today. The body wants to heal. It just needs the right environment, the right fuel, and a little patience. And the best part? This isn't about expensive medications or invasive procedures. It's about empowering yourself with knowledge and using nature's pharmacy strategically. A simple tea, steeped the right way, sipped at the right time, can do more than just warm you up. It can restore your health, calm your prostate, and give you back control. It's always like this. At first it seems silly, a little pain, a change in your tests, insomnia that comes and goes, but suddenly it becomes routine. And when you finally seek help, it's already harder. But what if you could act before it gets to that point? A natural, effective, and safe solution is within your reach, and it has already helped thousands of people who were in your shoes. The difference? They decided to act. Do the same now. See the pinned comment before this opportunity disappears. So now that you know green tea can reduce prostate inflammation nearly instantly when used correctly, let's go deeper. Because the more you understand, the more empowered you become, not just to feel better for a day, but to maintain long-term prostate health and possibly avoid bigger problems later in life, like benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, or even prostate cancer. And the best part? This next layer is something most men are never told by their doctor. Let's rewind for a moment and look at what actually causes inflammation in the prostate. Yes, we've talked about systemic inflammation, but there's more nuance here. Chronic inflammation in the prostate is often driven by something called oxidative stress. This happens when free radicals, unstable molecules, begin to damage your healthy cells, including those in the prostate. Normally, your body can clean up these free radicals with antioxidants. But if you're under too much stress, eating poorly, not sleeping enough, or lacking key nutrients, those defenses get overwhelmed. That's when inflammation explodes. Here's where green tea shines again. Not only does EGCG lower inflammation, it's also one of the most powerful antioxidants in the plant world. It literally neutralizes those free radicals before they can damage your cells. It's like having a cleanup crew sweeping through your prostate, removing the junk, the debris, the irritation. And as that happens, you start to notice the changes. Easier urination, less urgency, deeper sleep, more energy during the day. It all connects. But here's a lesser-known truth. You can turbocharge this effect by combining green tea with foods rich in a compound called sulforaphane. Ever heard of it? It's found in cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and it works on a different but equally powerful pathway. While green tea handles inflammation and oxidation, sulforaphane activates your body's own detox system. It flips on what scientists call the NRF2 pathway, basically your internal switch for antioxidant production. Think about that for a second. One is protecting you from the outside, neutralizing threats. The other is boosting your inner defense. Together, they're like two bodyguards standing at the door of your prostate. And studies have shown that men who regularly consume both green tea and cruciferous vegetables have lower PSA levels, fewer urinary symptoms, and in some cases even reduced prostate size. But now let's talk about something you might not expect: your gut. That's right, your gut health has a massive impact on your prostate. Surprising? It shouldn't be. Your digestive system is where inflammation often starts. When your gut microbiome, the billions of bacteria in your intestines, gets out of balance, it triggers immune responses throughout your body. And one of the first places that feels the impact in men? The prostate. But guess what? Green tea also supports gut health. The polyphenols in green tea act like prebiotics, feeding the good bacteria in your gut. In turn, those bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids that reduce systemic inflammation and help keep your immune system in check. So the benefits of that tea extend far beyond your cup. They reach into your microbiome, calming it, rebalancing it, and in doing so, supporting your prostate from the inside out. Now, we've touched on diet, but let's put this into practice. What does a typical day look like if you're serious about using food and natural strategies to support your prostate? It starts with cutting out inflammatory foods, things like processed meats, excessive alcohol, refined sugar, and especially industrial seed oils like soybean, corn, or canola. These ingredients sneak into packaged foods and wreak havoc on your hormone balance and immune system. Instead, build meals around whole anti-inflammatory foods. Think salmon, olive oil, avocado, dark leafy greens, turmeric, and nuts like walnuts or Brazil nuts. Did you know Brazil nuts are one of the richest sources of selenium, a trace mineral essential for prostate function and shown to reduce the risk of prostate cancer when consumed in moderate amounts? And water. Don't forget hydration. Dehydration concentrates the urine and irritates the bladder and prostate even more, so drink enough clean water throughout the day. And no, coffee doesn't count. But you know what does? Herbal teas, especially ones like nettle root, pyjum, or saw palmetto. These herbs are not miracle cures, but when used together with green tea and a clean diet, they support a healthy urinary flow and reduce discomfort. And let's not forget stress. Chronic stress releases cortisol, which doesn't just mess with your mood and sleep. It can also increase inflammation in the prostate. Ever notice symptoms getting worse during times of anxiety or pressure? That's not a coincidence. Managing stress through deep breathing, regular physical activity, or even a few quiet minutes with a hot cup of tea can make a real difference. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever been told that nighttime urination is just normal as you age? That getting up 2 or 3 times a night is just part of being over 50? It's not. It's common, but not normal. And with the right changes, including green tea, anti-inflammatory foods, stress management, and better sleep, you can reverse that. Imagine sleeping through the night, undisturbed, waking up feeling refreshed instead of exhausted. And there's one more thing to understand. Sexual health. That's right. Your prostate plays a key role in sexual function. Inflammation in the prostate doesn't just make you uncomfortable. It can reduce libido, interfere with erections, and even affect fertility. But as inflammation goes down and blood flow improves, you start to see improvements across the board. That's not hype. That's physiology. When the prostate is healthier, Everything else just works better. Let's take a step back. What have we really covered? You now know that prostate inflammation is not just something you have to put up with. It's a response to lifestyle factors that can be changed, and green tea is a powerful starting point. It works because it's packed with EGCG, a compound proven to reduce inflammation, balance hormones, and support antioxidant defenses. But even better, it works in harmony with smart food choices, stress management, good sleep, and gut health. None of this is about magic. It's about biology. Your body wants to be in balance. And every time you reach for a cup of green tea instead of a sugary drink, every time you build your plate around real food, every time you breathe deeply instead of rushing through the day, you're helping your body return to its natural, healthy state. So if you're ready to stop reacting and start rebuilding, if you're tired of living with discomfort, interrupted sleep, and declining energy, it's time to take action. Not big, overwhelming changes, just one decision at a time. One cup of tea at a time. And if you've made it this far, you already know more than most men ever will about taking care of their prostate naturally and effectively. But if you want to keep learning, if you're hungry for even more practical tips that can make a real difference in your daily life, then don't stop here. Click to watch the next video on your screen right now. You'll be surprised how much more your body can do when you just give it the right tools.